3rd, White Sox in Detroit. Abreu got hit on this last pitch. Not that one. That was just a ball in the dirt. He answered it with this hard slide. Like, what are you doing? Why are you sliding so hard? Like, I don't even know what the answer is. The White Sox have already clinched, and they're still brawling, and it was hit on accident since it was a one-run game. Total bizarre scene. Nobody hurt, just a lot of conversation. White Sox win 8-7. Moving on to the wonderful Cleveland, Kansas City. Kyle Zimmer versus Bradley Zimmer. Two brothers going at it, and little brother Bradley goes deep. Tough emotions here for the brothers. This is like when a clutch client has a good game against LeBron. Like, oh boy, what is Nick supposed to do? No idea, but overall, great job by the Zimmer brothers. Zimmer brothers win, and that's where we're in wonderful from the national pastime.
He did that whole bit just to get the clutch shot in.
Unnecessary.
No, that wasn't a shot.
Hey, can we talk about Kyrie Irving now? He took part in Brooklyn's Media Day virtually yesterday, was not able to attend at Barclays Center due to his vaccination status. With New York City requiring pro athletes who play indoors to get the shot, Kyrie was asked yesterday if he plans to get vaccinated before the season. Here's what he had to say.
Honestly, I like to keep that stuff private, man. I'm a human being first, and obviously living in this public sphere, there's just a lot of questions about what's going on in the world of Kyrie. And I think I just would love to just keep that private and, handle it the right way with my team and go forward together with a plan. So, obviously I'm not able to be present there today, but that doesn't mean that I'm putting any limits on the future of me being able to join the team. And I just want to keep it that way. So we can keep that private. And if anybody has any further questions about that, please, it would be the same response. I would like to keep that private. And just please respect that.
I understand you want to keep this private. And I do think there's, people should have privacy to a certain extent, but people are speculating about certain stances you have and that you're not going to be available to your team and that kind of thing. And just why don't you want to clear that up to some extent?
Yeah, please respect my privacy. Next question.
As in fans too, they also want to know, not just us.
Yeah, next question.
Are you concerned about his availability at home games going forward?
No.
So you expect that not to be an issue?
I expect it not to be. That's on Kyrie, and that's his personal decision. What he does is not on us to speculate what may happen. But we trust in Kyrie, and I expect us to have our whole team at some point.
Like, 3 most important words there, at some point. Nick, this bothers you. Why?
Well, let me start with the positive. I was glad to hear Kyrie say the public sphere as opposed to the public flat surface. So, maybe there is some evolution of thought on Kyrie's behalf in at least some areas. Unfortunately, not on this one. Listen, Kyrie, if someone has deeply held religious convictions that prevent them from embracing any part of Western medicine, I will never begrudge them that. But Kyrie goes to the knee surgeon more often than I go to the dentist, so that ain't it. And the reason that Kyrie or Andrew Wiggins or any of these guys are hiding behind it's a personal privacy issue is because they know that their opposition is a centimeter deep. That it's an indefensible position that they specifically hold. And it is not a personal question to say, hey, are you going to be able to play home games this year? Kyrie or anybody is allowed to be a nudist if they'd like, but it would prevent them from being able to suit up for an NBA game. That's where this is. So forget the public health component, forget the 600,000 dead component, forget the responsibility as a leader in any community component, just from a basketball component. This is brutal for your team. Kevin Durant look happy answering those questions. Kevin Durant look happy that it's like, you got it. Really? We are the overwhelming favorites. Everyone is healthy. This is the chance to be the best team in Nets history. And you know what? All things work out. One of the best teams in NBA history. And we got Kyrie Irving on IG Live walking around his house talking about how important privacy is. What? And Broussard, this is an untenable position for the Nets. It's not Kyrie's fault in this one regard. There's 27 teams where this would be an inconvenience, but not a devastating blow. But if you play in San Francisco or New York City, not being vaccinated means you can't play home games. And I want your thoughts on this, Broussard, at some point I think you would be better off with no Kyrie Irving than Kyrie just for road games. I don't think you can build a cohesive unit if Kyrie is only, and by the way, it's not like, well, you can play home games in the playoffs, though. They're not changing the rules for that. So this is a brutal spot for the Nets. And if it's going to end, Broussard, with Kyrie getting vaccinated anyway, then the hell are we doing? Then what is this other than a look at me, I'm so interesting because I've discovered something on YouTube that the leading virologists in the world haven't discovered in their lab? It's maddening.
Well, to the point you made, Nick, they could get away with it during the regular season. It's not what you want to do. I wouldn't want to do it if I'm running the Nets. But if Kyrie were to only play road games in the regular season, they'd still be fine. They still have the number 1 or number 2 seed in the East. We know that, just based on Harden and Durant and the rest of their roster. The problem is it would continue into the playoffs. And that's where it absolutely cannot happen. We saw it last year. We've seen it every year. Chemistry is important, and you wouldn't have the chemistry. To me, the most hopeful thing, if you're a Nets fan, that Kyrie said yesterday was that he's leaving the door open. He said, I'm not putting any limits on the future of me being able to join the team. That's a door open. All right, that's a door he left open to kind of say, I might get vaccinated. All right, I'm still trying to figure it out. If I'm the Nets, what I would do is talk to Kyrie. I wouldn't give him a hardcore ultimatum. You got to do it. Do it in a respectful, nice way. But Kyrie, we need to know within the next 2 weeks if you're going to get vaccinated or whatever the deadline, but a week or two before the regular season starts. But we need to know by this date if you're going to get vaccinated. And if we don't, Nick, I love Kyrie as a player. And while I said last week or 2 weeks ago I'd consider moving him for Simmons, for Damian Lillard, for Bradley Beal, as I think about it, I'd go into this season with Kyrie with the Nets if the vaccination weren't an issue. But if he won't get vaccinated, you don't really have a choice but to move him. And the obvious trade partner, because look, as great as Kyrie is, teams around the league, regardless of the vaccination, aren't lining up to trade for him because of all the issues that he brings. He's unreliable because he's injury prone, number one, but also because of things like this. All right, and when he was a free agent, Wilds, people were not really trying to get just Kyrie. They were willing to take him because Kevin Durant would be part of the package, but teams weren't really just going after Kyrie by himself. The obvious trade partner is Philadelphia with Ben Simmons. And because it's one problem for another problem. My problem for your problem. So if I'm the Nets, I'm going to Kevin Durant quietly if Kyrie doesn't get vaccinated. I'm saying, look, KD, we love Kyrie just as much as you do. But we're trying to win a championship, and he's not going to be here for the home games. So are you cool with us moving him? And if Durant gives the blessing, you might think Durant's got the contract extensions. He's locked up through 2026. Nets can do whatever they want. No, now we see players demand trades no matter how much time is left on their deal. So if KD is cool with it, Wilds, then I'm looking at moving him to Philly for Ben Simmons and Seth Curry. I got to get more back. So give me Seth Curry, a great shooter, and that's what I'm looking at, Wilds.
Okay, so then Embiid would play with Kyrie, who couldn't play in Barclays or Madison Square Garden, so he'd be missing a considerable amount of games there. And I think that would be a mess chemistry-wise. If anything, I think the Sixers need to sort of, settle the ship and not add more tumult to it.